Hello and thank you for joining me. I'm Heather Forgan of StampWithNelly.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based in the UK. Today I am creating this lovely little treat bag for Halloween, but not using any specifically Halloween products. I've got Choose Happy stamp set with that little pumpkin, the little face there, and Boo, and I've made that little tag, and I've used some of this gorgeous Botanical Textures designer series paper. So you've got lots of lovely black and white botanical prints, but then you've got some plain designs as well that I thought would be okay for Halloween. So I'm going to create another one just to show you how quick and easy these are to do. You will need half a sheet of that designer series paper, so 6 inches by 12 inches. I've got my trimming blade way out of the way there, and I've just got my scoring blade here. Okay, so I'm going to score that on the short side first of all at 1 1/4. Okay. That's the depth of our bag. And then I can bring that around here, and I'm going to score that at 4 1/2 because that's the width of the bag. And then at 5 3/4, that's the side. Then I need to pop out that extendable arm there and go to 10. And on top of something, 10 1/4. You'll get the measurements for this in my blog post. There'll be a link to that in the description bar. And then my last score line is at 11 1/2. Okay, nice and easy. Then I'm just going to fold along those score lines and gently burnish that. Just making sure that I've got the sides lined up like that before I press that down. Then we've got that one, line that up, and then my little one at the end there for the tap. Then I'll bring in my scissors. It might be easier to see the lines on this side. Okay, possibly not. I'm going to cut that little rectangle out there. Okay, so that one there. I'm going to chop that off like so. And just take a little wedge off the top there as well. Okay, and then each of these lines I'm just going to chop up to that one there. So I'm cutting right on that score line up to that junction there. Same again here. Like that. And then the last one I need to do is here, right on my score line, right up to there. And I'm going to take a little wedge out either side of that square. And I'm going to do the same on this square here, just to take out a little bit of the bulk. Easy peasy. So now, looks like that. So we've got these long pieces uninterrupted, and then we've got our short pieces there, and our tab on the end. So I'm going to put glue on that tab. My preference is liquid glue. So I'm just going to put a little bit on there. And then fold that over to meet. So that edge should be right up to that score line there. Again, it's black, it's so difficult to see. And then I like to fold it the other way and make sure I've got that nice and neat. And then you might actually see there that there is a little overhang. And some things in my crafting life, I think, yeah, it's close enough. And other things like this, I always like to just tidy that up. Okay, it's a slither, but it would show white and that it would annoy me. So on the base, we've got these 4 pieces. Fold one over, then put some glue on the underside of the side pieces, like that. Just let that grab for a moment, and then put glue on this piece and fold that around there, like so. Put the hand in, and then just pinch the sides like so. I have some sweets here that I got from Lidl. So I've got, there's some sour ones in there, which I think is good as a trick if you think they're all nice and sweet and then you come across that one. Yeah, I think that's possibly all of the different flavours, or not. So whatever sweeties you've got, just pop them in there like that. Then I have a couple of little sewing clips here. Not that I do any sewing, but they're handy. And then I've got my Timid Tiger ribbon. That's just going to go around there and leave enough for me to tie that in a knot. Okay. So let's get that further down like that. Okay. I'm keeping my, when I'm tying my knot, I'm keeping these bits that way because that's the way I want my tail to go. Tails, rather. So if I pop that through there like that, trying to keep that nice and tight. Bring that down. Then my tails go that way rather than up and down. Okay, so bring them together and do a little chop. That way you know you've got them. Oh, I didn't bring them together. That way you know you've got them the same length. Like that. Okay. I'm on my very last page of this pad of grid sheet, which Stampin' Up's business year starts on the 1st of October. So I'm trying to make this last, and I have a new pad for a new year. Don't know why, but that's what I'm doing. So I've got a tiny little scrap of Timid Tiger and this pumpkin stamp from Choose Happy with Memento ink. Now, because Memento ink is a linen pad rather than foam, I like to give it a little rub as well as a tap. Straight down, straight back up. Then we need his little face, same again. Little rub, a little tap. Pop that in the centre. And then I do something that I very rarely do, and that is fussy cut, but this is pretty easy, even for me. So I know the secret of fussy cutting is to keep your scissors straight or your scissors steady rather, and then move the card around instead. But I'm good at it in theory, but I'm rubbish in practice. So, down there, and then we can go wee round the side. go. So I'm much further away that side than I was at the other side. I'll just tidy that up again. This is why I don't do fussy cutting. It's fine if I'm sitting in front of the telly and I've got all the time in the world to do it. But when I'm trying to do something quick on video, it never works out. So I have the 1 7/8 circle punch and a scrap of basic white. And then I'm just going to bring in those other 2 stamps from Choose Happy. And randomly stamp the stars and boo in all different directions. Oops. We might cover that bit with a pumpkin. I really ought to take my time. Another boo there. And we'll go another star there. Why not? There we go. That's my stamping done. And my fussy cutting done. All I need to do now is I've got really old hole punch, but any kind of hole punch would do. And just punch a little hole so that you can put some string through it. And then I've got dimensional. I'm just going to put, I was going to just put 1, but 2 came away and they fit, so 2 will do. I'm going to cover up my messy bit of stamping like that. Isn't that wonderful? And then I'm using some of this Baker's Twine Essentials pack. It comes in a pack like that, and that's what I've got left of that original pack. We'll try and use it up. And don't need a huge amount. I'm going to slot that through there. And then put those tails through that loop. I have way more than I need. I'm just gonna pop one underneath the ribbon there, that one there, and then just tie that in a knot fairly close to the ribbon so that it can dangle down but not too far, like that, and then chop off the excess. Take my clips off, and now I've got 2 ready for anybody that comes to trick or treat, or guys in our Scottish language. So there we go. I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Quick and easy. Could be used for any kind of little treat bag. Decent size, ready for lots of little treats. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please give me a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, please click on that subscribe button, click the bell and get notification the next time I upload a tutorial. Until then, please do take care. Bye bye.